it's Laurie from Cook Scrap Craft. Welcome back to the channel for another Mixed Media Frenzy YouTube hop. This month we are using a very beautiful layout by the Rustic Pineapple. The Rustic Pineapples. You can see it up in the corner there. I'm going to keep it there for reference throughout this process video. If you don't know, Mixed Media Frenzy, the hop happens the last Friday of every month, and it's put on by the folks who run the Mixed Media Frenzy Facebook group. Anybody in the group can participate, and it's a lot of fun to see how everybody is inspired by the original layout. So for me, I was inspired by the circular shape and the stars. There are a lot of stars in the original layout. So what I started off with was first finding a single photo. Now mine is vertical, not horizontal, but I am going to cut it down to make it a little bit smaller. And then because I wanted to do something with circles, instead of doing just one big circle, I took my Creative Memories circle cutter stencils, I guess that's what they are. And I just traced them. I traced all three sizes and kind of made them overlapping a little bit. And I chose blue because a lot of the elements that I picked for this layout are blue. So I went with blue instead of black. I mean, you could do whatever color you want. You don't even have to trace a circle at all. You could just like use stickers or whatever to make a circle if that's the way you wanted to go. But I wanted to have some sort of like visible circle, and I've done tracing those Creative Memory pieces before, and I liked the way that looked. So before I go any farther, I need to do some backing to my photo. Now there is some backing of the photo that's in the original layout, so I wanted to do that as well. And because I was so inspired by the stars, I kind of just went through my stash and picked a bunch of stuff that either had stars or was like the right color to go to like match. Obviously, I'm going to be using that Simple Stories star stencil, which is, I love that one. I love the way it looks. The photo that I chose, I wanted to find something that was going to be kind of generic so that I could use just general pattern papers and embellishments, and I didn't have to focus on a theme or have something, you know, it just wanted to be able to use stuff from my stash. And so I like photos that like where there is a story, but it's not like it's Christmas or a birthday. It's just like a random photo with a story, and then I just like being able to mix and match random things from my stash. So I'm going to keep saying this throughout the entire year. If you're doing a no spend craft supplies challenge, you know, one of the easiest things to do is to not get caught up on trying to scrapbook all of the like specific themey events. Just take some of your general photos and go through your stash, go through your scrap bin and look to see what you have that you could put together to make just like a general layout. Okay, and mixed media is also a really great way to do that, to enhance that. So I've taken a couple pieces, again, from my scrap stash. There's some, is it Doodlebug paper? There's some P13, I think. The purple paper, it has stars on it. I can't remember who it's by. But, you know, these are things from my stash. It doesn't really matter. I inked all of the edges with black ink. I cut the sort of houndstoothy looking pattern into a banner, so that's going to be sticking up behind the photo. And then I wanted the purple piece to kind of be coming like across. I should have cut the polka dot paper before I started sticking everything down, or at least before I started sticking the top two pattern papers down, but I did not do that. So I had to kind of pull a chamel and freehand cut behind that purple pattern paper, no big deal. Then I'm also inking that little circle. It's actually a piece of pattern paper that I punched out with a small circle punch. I want to say it was like a 1-inch circle punch, and it's got a star on it. So I'm going to stick that down there and then use that as like the base for an embellishment cluster. And finally, we can get into some mixed media. Now, I don't go very like heavy-handed on the mixed media. I kind of just, I do what I like to do, and that's pulling in the stencil, and then at the very end there's going to be some splatters. And I just love the way that those stars peek out from behind the photo. So I'm going to do just a little bit of stars, 3 sections of stars. I'm just using a scrapbook.com dauber, ink dauber, my Hampton Art ink, black ink, and then the stencil, and I'm just like putting them in places. I did have to kind of take a break for something there. I don't know why, but I'm back and I'm going to do this third piece. Again, trying to make sure that the stars are going to be coming out from behind the photo. And I think on the original layout, if you look closely, you can't see it probably in this video, but if you go to the Mixed Media Facebook page, which I will have linked below, as well as everybody else who's participating in the hop, so hop along, but if you go to the Mixed Media Facebook page and look at the original layout, it almost looks like, I'm not sure if she did something with like gesso and a stencil, but I feel like there is something, some like textured element where she created some mixed media stars as well as using like embellishments and sequins and that sort of thing. So I'm using just, stuff from my stash. The stenciling and the inking is kind of like my mixed media, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes you see people do mixed media and it's very involved and it uses a lot of different mediums, but like it doesn't have to be that way. So I hope that this layout is inspiring to you and just shows you how you can easily incorporate some mixed media onto a layout, as well as use up a lot of pieces from your scrapbook stash. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or comments about the techniques and products that I'm using. If you are a subscriber, thanks for returning and watching all the way to the end. I'm glad that you are back, and leave me a comment and say hi. If you are new to the channel, like I said, the whole purpose of this process video and all the process videos that I do every month, every week, every month, is all just to like inspire you and show you that scrapbooking doesn't have to be hard work. It doesn't have to be like tedious. It doesn't have to be perfect. And especially if you're new to this, or if you're new to mixed media, I hope that this can be a helpful video for you. And if you like it, consider clicking that subscribe button so that you get to see even more scrapbook content from me. So here I'm just adding in some stars. So the original layout you can see is a big circle, and it's got all the embellishments going around it in the circle. And I've done stuff like that before with stickers, where I create a circle, either creating like a banner with the embellishments or creating a full circle with embellishments. I decided not to go that route this time, only because I just didn't have a lot of star embellishments. So I fussy cut a star from some very old, I think it was Echo Park paper. It was one of like the Disney collections from either Echo Park or Photoplay. I have to be quite honest with you, their collections look very similar. And that's probably just because they use, Disney colors, but they look very similar. So I fussy cut that star out and popped it up in some foam dots on top of the circle that I had punched out of the star pattern paper. And so I'm going through and I'm adding some Bella Boulevard star stickers. They're kind of puffy, and they are in different sizes and different colors. Some of them are just like stars in a circle, which I really like. And then I'm going to add some sequins. So they're not really sequins, they're more like gems, but they're very like sparkly. They're like twinkly, like twinkle, twinkle little star. That's what I was thinking of. So I'm just gonna like pop a couple of those around the puffy star sticker clusters, just for a little bit of extra added dimension, just a little extra something. Some of them are going to be like within the stars that I've inked, and some of them are going to be just like on the white space. And I will not make you watch me stick them down. That was very tedious, but I did use my mini glue dots, my mini Zots, to stick those gems down. And I will also come back. I guess there's a little bit more mixed media. I'm going to break out a Nuvo drops. Once I put this little, add this little sticker down from that a Halloween sticker sheet, using a Halloween sticker sheet on a photo that is not Halloweeny. But once I get this all done, do the title, I am going to break out some Nuvo drops and do a couple drops here or there. I was actually going to do Nuvo brand in a sort of like glittery teal color, and then I decided I was going to go for the silver, the scrapbook.com pops of color in silver, just because it kind of went with the gems that I used, and it was, again, very twinkly, twinkle stars. That's, again, kind of what I'm thinking of. The title for this is using, what are those, Amy Tangerine stickers, alpha stickers? They're very translucent, so I knew they were going to be perfect for using on this white background, because they're going to show up really well. If I was to use them on a pattern paper or even a darker cardstock, they're not going to turn out. So I love those. I love them, but I don't get to use them very often because they are hard to see unless you're using them on white. So I'm just kind of putting them down. The end you probably saw, I tore it as I was trying to lift my finger off of it, but nobody notices. It's fine. I put it back together. No big deal. The title is kind of a weirdo because that's what my kid is. She had these necklace charms at Christmas, and she like put them on her eyes and then put her glasses on top of them and was like, take my picture. And we're like, what are you doing? So yeah, now she can always look back on these memories, and I can break these scrapbook albums out when like a boyfriend comes over or like her friends and be like, look at these funny pictures. Your friend is so weird. Isn't she weird? And they'll all laugh and be like, oh my gosh, you're such a weird kid. And she'll be like, Mom. And that's how it's going to go. And scene. So now I'm doing my journaling. I wasn't quite sure where to put it, but I'm just going to do a little bit of, just a very teeny tiny bit at the very top there, among the white space within that circle. I could have probably done it in the bottom, like left-hand corner, underneath that little banner sticker that I put down, but I kind of like it up in the circle. Yeah, and I could actually have added more. I could still go back and add more of the star stencils in the bottom cluster, just to bring it over a little bit more to the left. There's a little bit too much white space as I'm looking at it here now, so I could go back and add a couple of those in, and maybe I will do that. But it might be kind of hard because I did put those scrapbook pops of color on there, so it's going to add a little bit of texture there, which might be hard to get the stencil down, but whatever. Whatever. See, nothing has to be perfect. You can always go back and fix something. There are no mistakes in scrapbooking, only creative opportunities. So that's going to do it for this layout. Oh, except for the splatters. And if I can remember what colors I used, I'm pretty sure I used Distress Oxide, Salvaged Patina, and then I used a Kaisercraft Purple. I'm just going to grab my little container here with all my misting sprays. I used Kaisercraft Iridescent Spray Ink with Shimmer in Blackberry. It's such a pretty color. Here they are. Here are the splatters. And I'm just tapping the wand with a pen just to get some nice light splatters. I used to not be able to do that, but it works really well with the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide misting sprays. Even with the Kaisercraft one, it works really well. You don't have to like shake it really hard with your hand. Just, light taps. They work really well. I don't know. The shimmers don't work that well when I try to do that, but every other misting spray works really well for that. So just a little tidbit. Also, cover your photo when you were spraying like that so you don't get any ink on your photos. It's happened before. It can wipe off, but better be safe than sorry. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. Make sure to follow everybody else in the hop, and I'll see you next time for more scrapbooking. Bye!